nel loro vocabolario degli eschimesi non esiste la parola uccidere.
Ok.
This is in a chalk. When you are leaving the forest and you're subpolar, essentially there are no trees, no nothing, it's just and 60 months of the year it's just a permafrost. So this is a directional sign. Okay. So they take the stones and based on where it's pointing to, it means a direction. Because there's nothing, it's all flat.
Yeah.
So that's the image.
Union Station is this one.
That's
okay.
right.
And?
Quando in italiano or in inglese?
Come vuoi te?
When he arrived here, this was the place where everybody was waiting for them to come out from the station. But this was not the primary landing place. They came by boat from Naples to Halifax. So Halifax is 2,200 kilometers away on the Atlantic. So they used to take this train, which took, it took 2.5 days to arrive. That's just the train, doesn't it? And he said to me that they gave us just this piece of something we thought was a cake, was the English bread, soft bread. And they told him, like, this is bread. This is, you know, these guys, they were used to our bread, Italian bread. It's totally cheap. But they thought initially there was cheese. So they were eating this bread, and they gave them bread during the the itinerary for 2.5 days. That's what to eat this bread. When they arrived here, like welcome to Canada. And they arrived in Halifax Pier 21. And there is a museum.
But you see, they received bread at that time.
It's equivalent to Ellis Island, essentially.
Yeah.
It's Pier 21.
But then they received bread at that time already. They were receiving some food.
For the trip.
Yes,
This
but
is
I
only
mean,
the food they have on the train.
okay.
Yeah.
This was the same for the States?
No.
States they arrived
No.
to Ellis Island,
Ellis
New York.
Island. Once they arrived in Ellis Island, they are only across the water from New York City. So,
But they had to pass the medical.
yeah,
That's and if you had something wrong,
A sickness.
because it was checked out,
You were
had to
kicked
get
out
taken
back.
Quarantine.
Ah,
That's why my grandfather Vincenzo, they didn't make it because he had a limp. So that's why they said to our great grandmother, "What the hell are you going? Vincenzo's not going to make it. They're going to ship him back." There was the
so that
communal
everybody
fund.
had $5.
And I don't know how long it took him to pay for the ticket for the fare because they didn't have the money. So when he started work, he used to ship the money back to our great grandmother.
do you
and
know how
used to
they
pay.
did that? How did they send money?
Oh, mail. Why mail? Yeah,
Paper money.
paper money, or I don't know, but that's how they.
Okay.
When you go to Ellis Island, kind of the best sign in Italian. Mi dicevano che dovevo trovare le strade coperte di oro, però non mi hanno detto che stavano aspettando me per pavimentare le strade. I was told that I was going to find the gold-plated roads, but they didn't tell me that they were waiting for me to paint the roads. It was in Italian, Ellis Island. They're flying into it, and have to leave the lights on. That's just. So that so many.
Qui stiamo
Somebody that,
a Toronto in un edificio disegnato da Calatrava, e qui ci sono due turesi doc che vivono negli Stati Uniti e in Canada, che adesso ci diranno cosa gli ricorda questo edificio per loro, e sarete impressionati. So what does it remind you?
Sant'Oronzo.
Sant'Oronzo, via 20 settembre, addobbata con con le luminarie.
E ragazzi, ve lo giuro, non hanno ancora bevuto, sono sobri, non hanno, cioè per loro quasi è Saint-Laurent. Quindi secondo me si potrebbe fare anche un gemellaggio qui con Toronto.
Our parking lot there for 3 days. One of the planes, so before taking off, they searched the plane. One plane coming from Amsterdam in the bin area, they found a cardboard cutter. 2 of them. They said, what the hell? What the hell knows? At the same time, 8:46, the second plane hits, and 15 minutes after, our tower control loses contact with the Air Canada plane to whatever receiver was not working properly. But at that time, people thought that maybe that plane's going to hit the CN Tower. So 2 F-18 go up looking for the goddamn Air Canada plane. And they were lucky that they established contact. But, said, holy shit. So the rumor was, so we lived through this. After that, all the world, all the planes that came in, it was the only day that nothing was flying unless they were just jet fighters. That's about it.
O Carlyle Company.